What up? This is Rama Screen, and in the anticipation of PG Psycho Goreman, which arrives in theaters on demand and on digital Friday, January 22nd, I'm here talking with one of the stars of this new film, Matthew Ninaber. How are you, Matthew?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for taking the time. I'm gonna cut to the chase here, straight to the $1 million question.
All
You
right.
you play the title character, right? So
Yeah,
you had to wear this costume, this massive purple bodysuit on. So tell me,
there it is.
oh, there
There it
you
is.
go.
Boom.
Wow, you came ready.
I should just keep this here.
There you go.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted
No
you.
worries, no worries. It's awesome. So tell me, was that thing comfortable or
No,
uncomfortable to put on?
no.
Was it
This is
hot? Was it
this is the
easy to
worst thing you'll ever wear. Okay, so it is like wearing a suit of whale blubber that itches. You can't. There's no holes in this thing. They seal
Oh,
you in. They glue you up, and you bake in your own sweat. You just it's like 16 hours, and then when you open it up there's like a seal that goes psh, and it's just stench. And I don't know. I don't like I play hockey. It's worse than wearing hockey equipment all day. It's rancid, and it's just gets worse every single time because you're putting the same suit on. You try to air it out, but there's no real way to wash it. So yeah, it's not delightful. I'm not going to like play it down. I'm going to tell you how it is. It's horrible.
did they
So
did
you
they
better like this movie. We did this for you. You better like it. So
but in the process of making the costume, did they adjust it to fit your size and the
yeah.
eye holes?
So no, it's completely built on my body. So we went in and they did a cast of my body, and then the head is actually like they molded it onto a molding of my head. So they had clay and all that kind of stuff, and so it fit really well. Like it's to my dimensions. It's just how do you say it? You're hot. Like our first scenes were in the winter, and that's all I was wearing. I'm like, oh, this is not bad. I actually really like this. Everyone's wearing parkas and they're freezing their butts off. I'm like, this is amazing. I love it. And then when we got to the summer and I had to wear this thing, and I'm just sweating. And it didn't have a pee hole. It doesn't have a poop hole. So like I remember I don't know what happened, but like on day 3 of filming, we we had an issue. And when I say we, I had an issue is that I ate something and I had like diarrhea coming. And I went to Steve, I went to the makeup crew. I'm like, guys, if I don't get out of this suit right now, which just took 3 hours to get into, I'm going to crap in this suit. I'm going to defecate in here. And they're like, get this guy out. Like, I'm like, I'm serious. So it's after that day, I didn't eat when I was on set. I just gave up. I'm like, I will eat the night before, and then I didn't eat, didn't drink. I just, yeah. So
so so is it fair to say that this is an experience that you probably won't revisit in a while, like putting on another costume?
oh my gosh, you know what? I thought that when it was done, and then I'm already in another suit, and they're already talking about doing a PG sequel, and they're joking about
Yes.
all these other things. So I'm like, all right, I guess it's gonna happen. And I was working on a movie, and I'm like, Steve, I want a monster. He's like, well, I can make one if it's off of your mold that I have, the cast. That means you have to wear it again. I'm like, I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm already in the suit again, and honestly, I've learned so much from the process, and there's things that you can do to take care of yourself and get through the day. And the big thing is you just shut down. Like when you're not on screen, I would sit and I would just go inside my head and I would just disappear, and just the different form of meditate. I don't know if it was meditation. I don't know what it was, but just to a different place. And then you'd have to come get me. So
That's a good method, definitely.
yeah.
I looked you up. You've done horror before, right? At least one. And this is not your first rodeo in the genre, correct?
Yep.
So
Yep.
what drew you to Steve's project? What do you think it is about what Steve crafted that makes it
So
unique from the genre?
so originally when I got into when I got the invite from my agent to say, hey, you should audition for this, I looked Steve up and I looked at some of the projects that he was doing makeup for. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, he like now he's on The Boys doing stuff for them, and he's done Umbrella Academy, he's done The Void and his own personal project. I'm like, I just want to learn, because like I want I'm a filmmaker as well, an actor. I just like movies. I love movies. Anything but movies. I would hold a boom pole. I would shoot. I would carry people's coffee. I just like being on movie sets. It's just a great place to be. And so that was the one opportunity that I liked just from that side. But then when I read the script, I'm like, this is crazy. This is like a man who grew up on Power Rangers and who's taking Power Rangers and mixing it with like Terminator 2 and then putting Ninja Turtles in there. And just like, this is a crazy world. And I just wanted to see how it was going to be made. Honestly, this is just nuts. So I put a lot of work into my audition, and I've said this before to others. I think it wasn't a case of Matt's the best fit. I think everybody else just knew what it was like being in a monster suit, and they just didn't want to do it. And I was that naive guy who was like, I'm going to be a monster. It's going to be great. And yeah, I had a rude awakening. And yeah.
This movie is also extremely bloody, gory, and
Yeah.
ultra violent, and but
Oh
in
my
a
God.
fun kind of way.
Ooh, fun way.
When you did those fight sequences, when you're working with heavy practical effects and costumes like that, with things squirting everywhere, what were the challenges that came with that? And did you have time in between takes to wipe yourself off of that gooey?
Oh my gosh. So the suit's always gooey. Like that's what makes it look so good. They're just always pouring stuff on you or putting stuff in your mouth and so you just get used to that. The one scene though that was just out of this world. I don't want to give away too much, but there's this big, I don't even know what to call. I still to this day don't even know what to call him, but he is a bucket of blood. He's a monster that's a blood monster. And Steve says, like, okay, so you're gonna get shot by this cannon of blood, but I want you to look into it. I'm like, what? He's like, I want you to look into it. So we just see it in your face. So it just comes at you. And I'm just like, here we go. And then like 500 liters of blood comes and I'm turning into it and like opening my mouth. I'm like, ah, like it's just, but like it gets in your suit. And for the rest of the day, it was just in there, just sealed in. So it's like squishy, and they still have to do a fight scene, and every movement's just like this sponge moving back and forth. I'm like, oh, this is so gross. And then it's in there for the suit for all of time. Like the suit now has this bloody, syrupy thing in it. So yeah.
And I'm sure it helped with your performance, right?
It is. You know, PG starts off as the conqueror of worlds. He's I have destroyed galaxies. And then he gets, subjected to this girl and imprisoned, and he turns into a dog that's just kind of an old beaten up dog. And it wasn't hard to go there because I kind of felt like that. I felt like huge. I'm like, I'm PG. And then I'm like, oh, I'm PG. So.
I spoke with your co-star Nita yesterday,
Yeah.
who just had good things to say about her working experience with you.
Yeah.
So now let me hear it from your perspective, because you did work with Owen and Nita, child stars for much of the film. You shared most of the screen time with them. What was that like? How was working with them?
They were great. Like Nita and Owen, I honestly think are going to do amazing things. So first off, Nita, this was her first rodeo, and I didn't know that. Like she came prepared, and she knew her stuff. So she knew her lines, she knew my lines, she knew Owen's lines, she knew the stage directions, she knew everybody's lines. So she just had this movie memorized. The other thing is Nita is no different on screen than off screen. So she's a firecracker to the point that like I felt sorry for Owen, because I'm like, she's method acting and just kicking the crap out of this kid all the time. So I'm pretty sure Owen just ran to different places on set just to get away from her sometimes. But they had a great dynamic, and I was very, very happy because again, when you're reading the script, you're like, okay, who are these kids going to be? And so much weighs on them, and I feel like they did such a great job, and I feel like they casted amazing with Nita and Owen. I actually didn't know Nita's name until the end of the movie, because they kept on going by their characters' names, and like they're like, hey, you're doing an interview with Nita. I'm like, who's Nita? And they're like, Mimi. I'm like, oh, because they were just so into it. Like they just embodied that character. So super happy for them. Super happy that they did such a great job. And yeah, I really hope there's a sequel where Nita's turned into that rebellious teenager. Maybe she doesn't need PG anymore. I don't know. Like there's a lot of fun things that you can do, and I know that she is just an amazing actress to work with. And same with Owen.
So, is PG Psycho Goreman ultimately a good guy, or is he a bad guy?
You can't answer that question. Like, look where he came from. Look what he's been through. He's a great guy. He's just had a bad. He just, he's just had like
yeah, I
some
know.
bad parenting. I don't know. I I love PG. I think there's a little PG in all of us who just
Mm,
wish we could just rise up and kick the crap out of the people who bullied us. So, yeah. Here's the thing: PG wouldn't be bad if it wasn't for the people who tried to dominate him. So
definitely. And
I feel like PG is very justified.
totally agree. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
had so much fun watching this film, and I hope there is a follow up. So,
This
for my,
this feels
yeah,
a great escape from what's going on right now, and just a great opportunity just to laugh. So yeah.
I agree. For my fans at home, everybody go check out Psycho Goreman, arriving in theaters on demand and on digital Friday, January 22nd. Matthew, thank you for talking to me, my man, and
Hey, thank you.
congratulations.